There are moments when you feel yourself slipping away piece by piece in the middle of a conversation, not because you've lost your logic, not because you've lost your voice, but because you've allowed someone else's emotions to steer your own. You try to explain yourself, but the more you speak, the weaker you feel. It's like standing in the center of a storm, and every word you throw back only feeds the wind. You stay silent, but the silence burns with anger. You speak up, but the words pull you further out of control. And in that instant, you lose. Not the argument, but the battle within. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When someone hurts you, remember you allowed it. No one can take your peace unless you hand it to them." So today, let's reclaim that power. Not with sharper words, but with sharper awareness. Not through control of others, but mastery of self. And we'll do it with just 3 questions. Simple, calm, but unstoppable. Question 1. Force the conversation to restart. Picture this, a conversation that's spiraling out of control. Their voice rises, their breathing quickens, their eyes lock onto you like a challenge. And deep down, you know if you say just one more word, you'll lose yourself. That's the moment you hit reset. Just like when your computer freezes, you don't keep pressing buttons, hoping it'll fix itself. You hold down the power, you shut it off, you force a restart. In conversation, that reset button is a question. A simple, intelligent question that cuts through chaos. Are you against us talking calmly? Is it unreasonable for me to ask that we speak respectfully? Would you mind if we pause this and continue once we've both cooled down? Soft words, but make no mistake, this is psychological judo. The human brain has a strange reflex. It wants to say no to almost anything framed in the negative. Like a child who hears, "Go do this," and instantly answers, "No." Adults do the same, they've just learned to hide it better. So when you ask, "Are you against talking calmly?" their instinctive answer is, "No." And in that small, seemingly meaningless "no," the balance of power shifts back to you. Because to say no, they must stop, think, and process. And that pause, that tiny interruption, is where the emotional storm breaks. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies your freedom." When you ask, "Are you against?" you create that space. You force the conversation to breathe. You give reason a chance to enter the room. You're no longer swept away by the current, you found your footing again. It's a small moment, but it's everything. Because in that moment, you breathe, and in that breath, you regain control. And here's the paradox, you don't need to win. You just need to slow down. Slowing down is winning. Because people lose control when they speed up with emotion. But the Stoic moves in the opposite direction. He slows down to master himself. Question 2. Did you really mean to do that? There are moments when people don't just raise their voice. They strike at your emotions. A sharp remark. A subtle insult that cuts deeper than it sounds. A smirk they think you didn't notice, but you did. That's when the second question appears. The one that forces them to face themselves. Did you mean to hurt me by saying that? Did you mean to embarrass me? Did you mean to make me feel small? Those 3 words, "did you mean," shine a light straight into their motive. No shouting, no blaming. Just one question, and suddenly they pause. They think. They see themselves. It's one of the deepest principles of communication. The same truth Seneca once spoke. The wise man does not answer with anger, but with clarity. Because when you ask this question, you're not trying to control them. You're mastering yourself. You're choosing awareness over reaction, conscious response over emotional reflex. Psychologists call it reflective confrontation. You're not fighting. You're holding up a mirror. When you ask, "Did you mean to make me feel ashamed?" You're not accusing. You're inviting reflection. And in that moment, the light of awareness cuts through. Even if they deny it, their mind wavers. Even if they stay silent, their heart has shifted. That's how the Stoic communicates. They don't attack, they reflect. They don't argue to prove who's right. They stay calm and let the truth reveal itself. Question 3. Are we standing on equal ground? This is the question you ask when someone's trying to overpower you, using their tone, their status, or their authority to push you down. Ask it calmly, steadily, without fear. Are we having this conversation on equal footing? I just want to make sure we're walking in the same direction here. Are we standing side by side in this discussion, or above and below? These questions carry the image of balance, of equality. They quietly hold up a mirror and make the other person realize they've been towering over you. And when they take half a step back, the energy between you resets. The tension dissolves. The ground becomes level again. This way of speaking doesn't demand, doesn't attack, doesn't humiliate. It elevates you. Because only a person who truly rules their emotions can speak with such composed strength. And after all, true power lies in silence. The Stoics believed that silence is the highest act of reason. Because the silence of a master isn't avoidance, it's a choice. The choice not to react. When you feel a conversation going too far, say, "I'll return when I'm calmer. I'm not ready for this conversation right now. I need some time to think before we continue." That isn't running away, it's commanding yourself to stop. The one who can't control his emotions reacts instantly. The one who masters himself pauses, observes, and responds with intention. That's why, in the military, before pulling the trigger, the best soldier is the one who knows when not to shoot. And the same is true in conversation. Real strength doesn't come from powerful words, but from powerful restraint. A debate doesn't need a winner and a loser. Sometimes, the real victory belongs to the one who stays calm to the end. Seneca once wrote, "No one can make you angry unless you allow it." Every time you lose your temper, you sign an invisible contract, handing over the remote control of your emotions to someone else. But if you stop, breathe, and simply ask, "Are you against us talking calmly?" you don't just regain control of the conversation. You reclaim the throne within yourself. In the end, there are 3 ways to take back control in any conversation. First, ask the intelligent negative, a question that makes the other person stop and self-correct. Are you against us talking calmly? Second, question their motive, a mirror that forces them to see their own behavior. Did you mean to make me feel small? And third, practice deliberate silence. Create space. Let the noise fade until your composure returns, and with it, your power. Conclusion. Out there, the world is full of people who love to talk, but very few who know when to stay silent. Everyone wants to win an argument, but only a handful understand that the real victory is mastering yourself. When you learn to use these 3 questions, you're not just improving your communication, you're training your discipline. You're building emotional strength, the kind that no one can take from you. Because every conversation is a test. A quiet test of one thing: how unshakable your inner peace truly is. Remember, you can't control what others say, but you can control when you speak. You can't force anyone to listen, but you can always choose when to stay silent. And each time you choose reason over reaction, you move one step closer to that Stoic freedom, what Marcus Aurelius called freedom through self-control. So stay calm, hold your ground, and let your silence speak louder than anything else. If this message resonates with you, hit like to let the algorithm know it should reach more calm minds. Subscribe not for more noise, but for more moments of clarity, strength, and stillness. And if you're truly ready to begin this practice, comment below, just one sentence. I choose calm over chaos. Thank you for watching.